Welcome to the long-delayed finale of Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Unfortunately, my associate Tanthias couldn't be here today to add commentary to this whole thing, so I'm sort of going it alone. However, he was nice enough to go back and play through the game and do a good recorded run of the final level, so that we could finally lay this LP to rest. So really, he did most of the work. It was just a trade-off in duties where he would play the final level. In return, I would agree to comment over it. And that's basically what brings us to this point. The reason why he went back and played this by himself, well, I'll get into it, but basically the whole thing is that this LP has gone on long enough, okay? I'm sure a lot of you are getting really tired of waiting, and the corpse of this LP is rotting up the place worse than the zombies that are in the fucking title of this game. So really, we just wanted to lay this LP to the rest by putting a bullet right through its brain, which I feel is very well deserved. We actually did try a lot and put in a lot of work on this LP to get it finished, and there was a lot of stuff that actually brought us to this point. If you noticed in some of the videos, there were little discrepancies and stuff. We had to replay several levels, we used a lot of save states and stuff like that, because this game is really difficult, and we tried passwords, we tried fucking everything, and we played for like several weeks. We actually have been playing occasionally, like every couple of weeks we would take out the project, dust it off, try to do a run through of a couple of old levels, try to run through the last few levels and get set up properly to take on the boss, or we would try any of those numerous things. But we didn't get any actual useful footage. We could upload a bunch of failed attempts or us rerunning levels, but nobody really wants to see that, am I right? So instead, we more or less reached a point where we were like, well, we have to end this somehow. And I don't know, I was kind of in favor of just saying fuck it and ending this whole fucking thing. But we kind of reached an agreement where we would possibly get one of us to play through the game using save states, just spamming save states constantly to get through, because in a game this hard, it's kind of mandatory, really. And yeah, Tan sort of drew the short straw. He actually played through the game himself, and he had a couple of old save states from that. So it would have been a lot less work for him to just finish off the last 30 or something levels. Because, you know, I would have had to start from scratch and all that. And he had a very good save state, like lots of health kits, lots of potions, all that stuff. So really, he was in a much better state to actually handle this thing. So instead, I opted to do the final level. Well, the commentary for the final level. He actually did the playing, fortunately. So there's a lot less work involved for me. I just get to sit here and ramble on endlessly for quite a while. So yeah, we actually weren't lazy, we didn't forget about the project, we were actually sort of doing this. In fact, this was about the only project I was still actively working on. And it was very, very annoying. In fact, I think it actually ate our brains, much like a zombie. So my whole "this LP is kind of like a zombie" analogy is even better. I mean, our ability to form coherent sentences has completely gone to fuck. You're going to see an example of that eventually. Yeah, because we didn't finish this game in a co-op manner, and because we kind of enjoy playing games together, we sort of made the mistake of getting involved in another project. So keep your eyes out for something like that. And fingers crossed here, we won't have to restart it 8 or 9 fucking times because we fucked up somewhere along the lines, or because the game is just designed in such a way that it's almost impossible to actually finish. Zombies Ate My Neighbors is a really good game, okay? It has very nice music, it has a great weapon system, graphically it's pretty fun, it's got a really good co-op thing going on. But the problem with the game is that it's not really designed to be finishable. You're not supposed to be able to really beat it without, well, without anything really. It's not really designed to be finished, I don't think. So that's why save states are sort of required in order to actually finish this whole thing. And that's kind of hard to do in multiplayer and stuff like that. So instead, yeah, we went the sort of cheap-ass route. And here's the final boss, Dr. Motherfucking Tongue and his giant spider. It's much like the one we fought earlier, except much, much faster. and he's throwing out a shitload more crap. It's just fucking everywhere. Fortunately, like I said, Tan had a lot of stuff, and he really prepared for this boss fight. So yeah, if you're actually going to attempt to finish this game, you really have to stock up and avoid using items. Which makes the game really, really hard, because it's already pretty hard. So you know, if you're going to play Zombies Ate My Neighbors, play it, but don't expect to finish it. Have fun playing it. It's not a game you play to beat. It's a game you play to kill a couple hours and have some fun with a friend. Unfortunately, we made the mistake of doing it as an LP, which meant at some point we would have to finish it. Oh, woe is us. Woe is us. Speaking of which, Tan made sure to point out that the Weed Whacker is actually an incredibly useful weapon for everything. You saw a little while ago, he was sort of using it to take out vampires. The whole thing there is that the Weed Whacker can actually take out the bats before they even leave the vampire, which means that the vampire is pretty much just stuck standing there with his thumb up his ass while you gradually rip him apart with a giant fucking Weed Whacker. And 10 is down. Fortunately, he didn't come into this with like no lives, like we did. Interesting little piece of information here. There's actually 2 different ways you can take out the final boss. We were only able to show the version where Tan fights because he didn't want to go back and record a version where he exploited this little trick, which I can't fault him for. I didn't even want to fucking play any more of this game by the time we were done. I had had enough of this, so I can't say anything bad for opting out of it. But anyway, if you leave vampires alive and you come to this boss fight, there's going to be one last neighbor left alive somewhere in this room. And if you do it right, you can cause the vampires to spawn and kill the neighbor. So if you have 2 neighbors and you rescued one and allow the vampire to kill the other, then you'll spawn a boss door, or rather the exit door, before the boss fight is even over. So you could just completely bypass the final boss. Which is good, because the way the bosses are set up in this game, it's really, really fucking weird. They're just way too strong for how weak your character is, and there's like not a very good way to sort of take them down. I don't know, I don't think this game was really sort of designed for proper boss fights, which is why they just feel so bloody awkward. The bosses sort of exist as giant walking brick walls to prevent you from progressing any further than you have. Boss fights. And we see him using the saucers a lot because supposedly they're the best item to use on bosses. I say supposedly because I've never really seen it. During some of our unfilmed replays of the earlier boss, when we were trying to get better supplies in order to come into the final level and actually finish it, I attempted to use the saucers repeatedly, and let's just say it didn't go well. Phase 2 of this boss. Giant head. Wow, that's interesting. Huh, look at those little pustules that guy has. That guy clearly needs some acne. Whoa, hello. Melting head. Interesting. Very interesting. I like how his glasses crack up and stuff. Whoa. Okay, what the hell? Was that the final boss? Really, that was it? Huh. That was kind of anticlimactic, I guess. Winner? Really? Okay, let's see how Tan did. Probably killed a couple hundred of these undead brain eaters here. Which is kind of weird. You always hear zombies being referred to as brain eaters, but you never really see zombies eat brains. They're typically more prone to go for the organs. So long, zombies. Then we have mummies. I don't see how mummies were really decided as a horror villain. They always seemed rather dull. Only 3 Chuckies? Really? Ah, okay. Well, 2 on fire, so he only killed 5. I wasn't aware you could actually kill the blobs. I haven't actually tried that. 4 chainsaw maniacs. And 8 creatures from the Black Lagoon. How many Martians? 27 Martians. And 0 of whatever the hell those things are. Pod people? 24. 1 for every hour in the day. Yeah, okay, it's just going to keep calculating stuff. I don't think there's actually going to be like a proper ending going on here. So yes, this LP finally fucking finished. Good God, that was a shitload of work. You didn't see most of it, but trust me, we actually were not being incredibly lazy on this LP. We tried a lot of shit to get it to this point, and I fucking owe Tan huge time for actually causing this thing to end. We did pick up another project, and we possibly have another in the works. So at some point or another, you may see some stuff. We actually do have some stuff recorded, and well, I'm probably going to end up working on that. And I've sort of brought up some of my old projects, thankfully. Well, maybe not thankfully, because I'm bored, really, would probably be the better statement there. Kind of annoys me how these old games were like bullshit fucking hard, but this is the extent of the sort of reward you get for completing the game. It's just the word winner with fireworks in the background. Isn't that just a kick in the teeth for all the bullshit we had to go through? All this shit we went through, all this fucking hard work, several months of playing this game, and the only thing we see is winner. Fuck you, Konami. Wait, did Konami make this? I'm going to assume Konami made this just because I want to say fuck you, Konami. Fucking Konami. Winner. I don't feel like a winner. I feel like a pissed off gamer. See you all next LP. So long.